Lando was in an impossible situation as well, because you'll have pricks like me saying not the move of a champion afterwards, like I did, right? And if he doesn't cede the position, then you'll have pricks going, oh, well, Lando's not a team player. So he's in an impossible situation, right?
I think I've not understood one thing. When the fuck did Lando become the villain of Formula One?
It
doesn't make sense.
One thing, because he said some bad things about Lewis, right?
And then he's competing with Max. So basically the two biggest fan bases are against him.
Yes. And then I think
it's nonsensical.
The problem is as well, he winds people up a lot. Like he says things that we would say on Twitter to wind people up, and people don't. He's not actually the villain. You just got these two loudest fucking annoying parts of each fan base just continue.
Seriously.
That's all it is. There was someone today who literally, I think just before I got on the podcast, and this is one thing I do want to say, anyone who gives out about Lando being upset after that race can go fuck themselves, because the people who are complaining about Lando being upset, like one person was like, is he really putting crocodile tears on after, as Oscar's winning? And I went into the account because I was interested to see. It was a Leclerc fan, I think, who literally was like giving out about everything that anyone's done to Leclerc. And I'm like, are you telling me that these people who get annoyed on Twitter about any single situation wouldn't be bawling their eyes out if they were in Oscar's situation or in Lando's situation? Like, of course he's going to be frustrated. Of course he's going to be pissed off. Like in the cool down room, Lewis said, oh, you guys were quick today, right? And people went off because Lando's response was, oh, well, you were quick here like for 7 years. I'm sorry, but Lewis has responded like that a few times as well. If he's just gotten out of a car where he was leading the race. He was told to give it back. He was in an impossible situation. Of course he's going to be frustrated and pissed off. And man,
you have to understand this thing. At some point, look, there is this, it's unfair. Honestly, it's unfair. There's no winning for him. If he does not give the position, he's an asshole. He is not a team player. If he gives up a position, he's not going to be a world champ. There are two things. And then how can anyone not expect him to not be upset? When he did the whole thing with champagne, he did not spray it on Oscar, because I can understand. I can completely understand. On his part, and I think even Oscar understands this thing. Oscar, the first person who actually congratulated him was Lando. So Lando did his bit. But you can't really expect someone to not be angry.
You can't expect him to be happy in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't.
Yeah. That was just rubbish.
Look at Lewis in 2016, right? Now, I know this is a championship, but this is my point. Drivers after that situation, it's like any human, when you're in a situation, this is why road rage exists, right? Your adrenaline's pumping, you're pissed off, people get annoyed at the smallest things. Like Lewis in 2016. So is it a case of the better man won? And he was like, oh, I didn't say that. And then like while he was in the car, it was like, Lewis, this is silly now, whatever. And he's like, I don't care, I'm losing a championship right now. Like even drive, and Lewis is not that guy out of the car. Like he's a pretty reasonable, nice guy. Of course, when the adrenaline's flowing, you're going to do and say stuff like that. And the fact is, Lando later on, as things you could see him kind of cooling down later on. And that's when he came together with the team and said, I was always going to give the place back. I think that's bullshit. I think he thought about not giving it back. Of course he did. But like, I think the problem is people just...
Honestly, I can't fault him for anything. Right now,
he's been a class act this entire time.
Like, anyone who thinks Lando was being immature when he was in the cool down room, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know that kind of emotions. What he was going through at that very moment, you cannot.
We haven't talked about Max yet. Vettel said it. Yeah, but Vettel said it. Vettel said years ago, if you were to mic up if you were to mic up a football player, do you think everything they say would be nice? Yeah. Of course not. Like, precisely. Anyone who criticizes Lando on Twitter for his frustration yesterday,
honestly,
subscribe and then go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, it was very facetious. That's my 2 cents on it.